All right, let's take a look at this. I want you to see this first visual that I have up. Good morning, Haishim. This first visual that I have up here is that customer journey. We always go back to this. We always talk about this. Today, the topic today is we're making a change. We're going from all of the stuff that we've been collecting and we've been putting together. We're making a transition now to your website. We're going to pull all of those pieces together. The end result's going to be your website. Now, there's a lot of other things you're going to do besides the website. In the course of doing business, you do a lot of things besides just a website. Good morning, Bill. And it might be sales pages, it might be whatever, but we're going to pull all of this together into a website, and we're going to write the website copy today. We're going to take the pieces that you have created, and we're going to use those pieces that you've created to begin to create your website copy. Do y'all know what I'm talking about when I talk about copy? All right, good. Because the copy is the thing that actually sells whatever it is that you're selling on your website. So we want to make sure that we get that copy right. Now, all of the things that we've worked on so far should come together into that website copy. But let's go back and take a look at this customer journey. And then I want to give you a little exercise that I think will be helpful to you in creating the right language and the right feel and the right format for this web copy, okay? But let's take a look at this customer journey again. It begins right here. Your customer has something that they want, or they need help with something, or something in that manner. They're looking for something. They're looking to alleviate a problem. They're looking for help with something, whatever it is. This is where the customer begins this journey right here. Now, I found something. I was doing some research on my own personal site, and I thought I need to take a look at something here. I want to see if I can find YouTube videos that might. I'm not going to use the YouTube videos on my site, but I just want to get some inspiration from YouTube videos. How many of you used YouTube to discover anything that goes in this section right here on this customer journey? You realize that YouTube is one of the largest search engines on the internet. So this can be extremely helpful. Let me show you a little trick that I did. And some of you that have been using YouTube to do that with may find this really elementary, but it was valuable. It was a valuable exercise for me. So I took this TEDx talk right here by this woman, Connie Schultz. She was talking about living life as a woman over the age of 50. Well, that fits the model that I'm looking for. So I went down here. There's 826 comments on this video. It's been watched 750,000 times, but there was 826 comments on this. So I looked at the comments because I wanted to see what people were talking about. What are they asking about? What are they saying? What are they doing? What inspired them? What triggered them? Because when I'm looking at this journey over here, I'm looking for what do I find right here that's going to be beneficial. So I went down through this list of comments here, and I found some things that were extremely beneficial. And some of it's just about, some of this is women commenting about, finding the love of their life, that kind of a thing. And so there's a lot of that kind of stuff, but there's some pretty amazing things in here that really help me to see that journey from their perspective. Do y'all understand what I'm talking about? I don't want to spend very much time on this, but I did want to share that with you. This is a good place to be able to find stuff here. Arnie was on with me last night on another call. Excuse me. Arnie was on a call with me last night. A guy was talking about having used this exact same exercise here for something that he was doing research on, and it was hugely beneficial to him as well. So this is a great place for you to be able to learn more about this customer that's on this journey right here. All right. And then when they meet the helper, this becomes the key piece right here, because this is where your sales copy makes a difference. All right, you can put all your energy into SEO, you can put paid ads, you can drive traffic, but when they have this encounter right here, this is the key, right? You understand how this is the key? This is where that sales copy becomes the trigger. You can have everything else, but without good sales copy to a good offer, you're going to be in trouble. So this customer journey is intended to get you to this stage right here, which we've done so far, to get you to this stage right here so that it looks as if the helper was expecting this customer to arrive. So the content becomes 100% in tune with the customer hero. Does that make sense? This is why this sales copy becomes so important. That first page that they find, this sales page that they land on, that becomes the key, okay? Y'all with me? I'm going to come over here and grab this. I'm going to post this again. Now, go here, down at the bottom, this website copy worksheet section at the bottom of this page has these 3 pieces that we're going to use today. Okay? So make sure you've all got that you've loaded those three Google Docs into your platform, and now take a moment and make a copy of that so that you'll be working from the copy, okay? Y'all got that? This one down here at the bottom, this customer journey mind map, that's this piece right here. It's important to keep this in front of you and make sure that you keep that in mind as you go, because this is not about you. This piece right here is not about you. It's about them. It's about them. And that's the reason why I kind of like the word hero instead of customer, even, because it puts the focus on the other person and makes them the hero. So, excuse me. So as we start this morning, the first thing that you want to do is we're going to take your customer hero journey right here, and we're going to use it to fill out this piece right here, this website worksheet. Okay. And this website examples, we're going to refer to that in just a minute. So you need to have a copy of this, that you make sure that you've done this, that you've started by copying that. Okay. And while you're getting that ready, let me explain something to you about I was gone all week last week. I went to see my grandson. I tried on Wednesday. I got one of the 3 missing, and there'll still be 3. So one of the 3 missing replays, I got it done after about 4 hours, 2 computer crashes, and one time spending an hour and a half trying to get YouTube to take the video, and then it told me that it was corrupted. And so got to find out what's going on with that, and I just didn't have time to do that yesterday. So we'll get that taken care of, and we'll get caught up. I'm ready to load those, but for some reason YouTube keeps kicking them out, that they're finding a corruption in that, which, I'm doing the same process I've always done. So something weird's going on. It's probably in my computer, so we'll figure it out. Okay. But make sure that you have this, because this is what we're going to do. Notice the bullet points here, the headings for the bullet points all come from, hey, Ivor, how are you? They're all going to come from over here. Okay. So we're going to pull your stuff from your customer hero worksheet over to here. All right. And you're going to find these headings are going to be on that customer worksheet. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at this and see what we can find here. And the first one is the call to adventure, right? My call to adventure is this. So I'm going to take that, And I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to put this right here. But this is Ed's goal. He wants to own his own business. So we're going to take this right here. He knows that this is a reality, but he runs into this as being an issue. He wants to own his own business, but he has a problem. And remember what the problem is? Y'all remember what the problem was on this journey here? He's always had company resources to help handle the details. And so we're going to insert that over here. You following with me? So you should be able to take the stuff from your customer hero worksheet over here and begin to insert it over here. You got that? So this is really important because this is that call to adventure. Now, we want to learn something about this helper over here, okay? And so we'll start grabbing each of these pieces right here and inserting them into this section right here. Who's the helper? What's the helper like? What's the helper going to do for him? One of the things that we put over here, oh, come on. Right? So we just start building this out. What we're looking for is we're going to fill out these bullet points because they're going to help create the outline for our website copy. Okay, y'all with me? Are all of you at the point where you can do this? You should have those pieces. So you have the call to adventure here. Where that's at is it's this stage right here. This is where there's that call to adventure. This is what's going on. This is what's happening here. And so don't think about a funnel map. Let's just focus on the copy here. We get lost in that term funnel. Funnel is just simply a way to sell something. All right. So what we're doing right here is we're now going to take those pieces. Now, the next part down here is the abyss and the resurrection. And this becomes the bullet points too. So you go back over here and you come down here to the abyss and the resurrection. And here are 3 bullet points that I created under here for my ideal customer here, which is Ed, correct? So now we're going to take the abyss and the resurrection information. We're going to drop that over here. I'm just going to copy all of this and make this simple here. Well, don't know why I didn't copy what I copied. Let's get that back here. All right, y'all got that? So now that becomes the outline for my website copy. Okay, I want to look for, and this is what you want to look for. You're going to have, now all of this needs to point to a call to action, right? All needs to point to a call to action. The headline should drive people to the call to action. What is it that you want on your call to action here? So I'm going to put down here that what I want to do for my call to action is to get on a call with the hero, right? That's what I want to do. I just simply want to get on a call with the hero. Then I start putting my headlines down. What's my value proposition? What's the challenge? How am I going to address that in the headline? Okay. Everybody with me? Y'all understand where we're going with this? All right, let's take a look at some examples over here. If you go to the Uzyme website, well, I have to log out. You see how simple this is? That's a headline, create an entire brand in 15 minutes. And this is a registration page for this. It's a piece and a call to action. Let's go to this next one over here. Bertrand's giving us some examples here. You notice here this says get a consultation, talk to a specialist. Is there a difference between get a consultation and talk to a specialist? Hey, Tyree, how are you? Here we have a great headline. We help great companies grow their revenues online. No difference. You're right, Glenn, Sheila, you're right. There's really not any difference between get a consultation and talk to a specialist. You're going to do exactly the same thing. The same thing's going to happen. The difference is only in the language so that it doesn't repeat exactly the same thing over and over again. But you see the headline right here? This is probably the value proposition for this particular company. We help great companies grow their revenues online. And then it gives just a little bit here about how they accomplish that purpose. Okay. Then you go down here, we help you grow with, and then it lists these different things that help you grow with. But here's a key word. What are they doing? You see that in the headline? Growth is one thing. The other thing is that they're there to do what? To help. Remember this journey over here? What happens right here? Help. Help is one of the most important words that there is. And so this is a good example of them using the word help. We help you grow with. And then down here it has that same call to action. But now we've seen it now 3 times, right? And then down here they throw in this guide that will help. But guess what happens when you do the guide? You also have phone number right here, right? And then down here, the same thing that we have right here. It's the same thing, a little scrunched, but the same thing. And down here's book a consultation. Same thing over and over again, right? Multiple calls to action, all probably leading to exactly the same spot. Then we have over here, this is another SEO thing. Not a big fan of that headline because in this case, it's really not about it's about the company, not about the customer. Up here, we have a call to action, get a quote. Not the best one I've seen so far. Not sure why he included that one, but that's not a very good one. Let's see if we got another one here. Let's take this one right here. But you can go back and take a look at those and see what we're talking about here. We've got adventure, storytelling, and commerce. I'm still not real sure. I'm not real sold on the headlines that you find here. Not the best website that I have seen for that. Okay. But you see the point? Let's see if I can get Usign's this website to come up. I don't think we can. I don't know how come I'm not getting the main site to come in. Here we go. This is the one I wanted to get. Yeah, I would agree with that, Larry. But here we go, and you can see here. What do you see that same word? We help. We help marketers create engaging visuals. Another very, very powerful word in sales copy: join. Join. People like to join things. People like to be a part of something. People like to be part of a movement. And then we have get started for free here. Here we have a free sign up. Same thing, just slightly different wording, right? Down here, this is a block that's intended, again, one of those things that you find over here. Let's see if I can find this one. One of the I don't have the customer journey piece for Usign, but this design shouldn't be so complex. That's one of their principles. Remember, we talked about all those principles and the keywords and the language that you use as the cheerleader for the hero as they're rounding their journey. One of Usign's headlines was "Design should not be so complex." And then down here, there is a great little story block about why design shouldn't be so complex. And then there's a call to action button here, a visual showing how that works. Okay. Does this make sense to everybody? Usign's website is very skimpy on sales copy, but it's a pretty targeted market. It's pretty targeted focus sign up. And then there's simple steps here. You know, you got 3 steps: sign up, join the community, and start saving time and money. And each one of those comes with a simple little blurb here explaining why that's important. You got it? Testimonial. I'm looking at Stephen's comment here. You can say take massive action in several ways without saying exactly take massive action. But yes, that's exactly what we're trying to get people to do. Again, same thing, just a slightly different wording here. All right. Same thing, different colored buttons, slightly different wording. Same call to action. When Usign first developed their website, the very first thing that you saw, that there was 2 call to action buttons on it. Conversions went up as the number of calls to action went on. And one of the things that you'll notice in many websites like this is that it begins, because if they arrive here just wanting to know what to do next, then on this very opening page, then it's really easy to see what to do next, right? You got 2 places right here where you can take action, which would normally be above the fold if it were not for this webinar drop down that's here right now. But these 2 both would be above the fold, and both of them ready to take action. And then we start giving a rationale for why. Design shouldn't be complex, so sign up. Kind of the massive action thing that Stephen was talking about a while ago in a slightly different format. Sign up for free. So here's a button where you can sign up, right? Join the community, and here's a button where you can do that. Create your first design. That's your start saving time and money. So the more times that you use the call to action, excuse me, more times you can place the call to action in appropriate places where it's obvious that that's the next thing to do, the higher the conversions will be. Does everybody understand that? It's not screaming, buy from me, but it is telling them what to do next. For years, when I did sales training, I used a triangle, and I called it the money triangle. And there's 3 principles in sales. You talk to the person who can tell you yes. That seems really obvious. If the person doesn't have any money and they can't make a decision, I shouldn't be talking to them, right? I need to talk to people who can say yes. Number 2, I need to make it really easy for them to tell me yes. And if I'm putting calls to action in the page, then, and the calls to action are related to the sales copy, then I'm making it easier for them to tell me yes. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, Ken, and that's kind of the intention here, is that this doesn't say buy Usign. What it says instead is create your first design. It's an invitation to say yes. That's what it is. So the three points on the money triangle were: number 1, talk to the person who can tell you yes. Number 2, make it easy for them to tell you yes. And number 3, give them value before you give them anything else. And you can see how there's value built into this. Okay. This count me in. That's a value comment. You get to join a community. Yes, gave you all 3 worksheets right here. Same place as it has been all along. These are the 3 worksheets right here. But this is intended to persuade. Create your first design. If a person landed here because they wanted to make designs, then this is a great place to do that at, right? And then we have a customer testimonial. And what this customer testimonial is connected to what? Other happy people, so that you can become a part of that too. Do you see the value of thinking, of having a plan for your sales copy and then appropriately placing your calls to action on your page so that you can accomplish that? Free trial is great, and free trials work fine. As a matter of fact, Usign comes with a 14-day free trial now, I think. Yeah, this free sign up right here, this is a 14-day free trial. I don't know that you have to always include that, but the word free is a very powerful word and works really, really well. Again, here we have the word free included here as well. But this is a good example of a properly constructed with a minimalist amount of sales copy. Make sense? Now, let's go back over to this worksheet, and I've taken each of these pieces, the call to adventure, the helper, and the abyss and the resurrection. We've kind of placed them in here with the intention of making sure that these are the things that are included. And then this is what my call to action is. I want to get on a call with that hero. I want to get that person on the phone. That's the most important thing for me, is get them on the phone, or get them on a Zoom call, or a Skype call, or something that makes sense to them. And we focus on the headlines, the sub headlines. You noticed over here, this right here is a sub headline. This was their mission statement, their value proposition turned into a headline. Right here becomes one of the obstacles in the way. It's this challenge right here. Design doesn't have to be complicated, right? So you see those scattered throughout here in a very simple step-by-step process. This is a great example of a minimalist design, minimalist copy scattered throughout, okay? All right, any questions about that? All right, now I'm going to show you what I've done with mine, okay? And again, this is a work in process. So we're going to take all of I'm going to show you how those pieces have all been put together to this point and where we're at with the sales copy, okay? This is my headline. What I decided to do was I would deal with the frustration, all right? I was going to jump to this point right here. I picked a visual, and can you see that visual? Here's that corporate guy looking out the window, wondering what's going to happen next. So the visual fits appropriately. Remember, we talked about that visual has to be about the other person, has to be about the customer and what that customer's thinking. So I thought the headline and the visual worked well together. Again, take a look at this. This is all above the fold. You have a schedule of time right here. You have a book your consult right here. What's my goal? What is it what's my call to action? What's the one thing I want the person to do? Get on a call. And so we've given them multiple opportunities to do that right there above the fold. So you have the headline and you have, this is a sub headline right here that really supports this frustration headline here. And then do this. Now what? Welcome to the amazing life after 55. And the truth is, it is an amazing life. But I identify specifically with that particular hero on this journey. It's the guy who spent his life working in the corporate world, right? And so I identify with him immediately in this very first sentence. Then you find yourself on the outside looking in. What's this? He's on the inside looking out, knowing that that's where he's headed, right? Now the identification. I know that was me. I knew it was coming. Blah, blah, blah. Got it? This is an example of a lengthy sales copy. And then here, remember one of the phrases that I used was that we bring clarity from confusion. And so I use the term confusion and complexity. And then again, go back over here. This is a different world than when I was 25. That's exactly what I was trying to do. M said, enter the conversation that's already going on in their mind. This is the person I'm after right here. Well, guess what conversation he's having with himself? This one right here. Then we included this. Remember those principles? This is the equivalent of what Usain did right here. We took exactly the same thing and we started to list them here. Share your amazing gifts with the world. And I might even include there on your terms. Now, remember, we're the cheerleader. This isn't about me. It's about them. You have amazing gifts. You can and should be sharing them with the world. You spend a lifetime developing skills, experiences, knowledge, and honing talents that the world needs as much now as ever. You just have to package them and deliver them, right? Everybody understand the value of this long form sales copy in this case? So this is a lengthy story block, so that I entered the conversation going on in their head and then take them to the place where I want them to go. Now, what's the phrase used right here? And it became another bold headline, right? Well, I'm targeting a specific, and I've tested this, Stephen. Stephen's brought up a question about gender, age, ethnicity, blah, blah, blah. One of the reasons why I used an executive with his back to the wall was intentional, so that it wouldn't have some of those thoughts associated with it. But I'm not at all embarrassed about that age bracket that's there, because of where I was at. All right, I understand that. I identify with that. The second thing is that I've tested this thoroughly, and 5 out of every 6 people who visit the site are men. Well, it would seem pretty important for me to target men in the conversation. Not that, and yet half of the clients that I have are women, but the people who are finding and are find the language appealing are men. And so that's my market. That's me. That's my background for me to be able to say I identify with that. That was in this case necessary. May not be necessary up here for you, Zion. You definitely wouldn't want this to be gender specific in any way, shape, or form, right? So now we have, let's discuss your future. What was my goal with the call to action? To get them on a call. So what does my button say? Talk with us, right? Now we take that portion of what is it that brings Ed out of the abyss? It's the imagining running a business, and look carefully at this language, leveraged by your experience. We don't want them to do something that they've never done before. We want them to do it for themselves instead of for the corporate world. Picture yourself running your own business, leveraged by your experience. That's a language that makes more sense to the person that I am targeting with this particular page than it does to the average individual. It's the language of our world. It's the language where we've come from, and we understand that. Leveraging simple strategies, enjoy this stage of life to the fullest. Now, what was it that Ed's biggest fear was over here? You go back over here and take a look at this. Because he has always had resources to handle the details. So what do we include right here? In the corporate structure, you had access to support systems. You've counted on them. They've contributed to your success. What if you had your own business with those same systems in place so you could do what you do best? Makes sense? Do you understand why the sales copy has to do this, and why you needed to put that kind of information in over here? Yes, Em, I think you missed the first part of this, and the first part of it we talked about finding YouTube videos that actually, and I've got an example right here, that this was a woman giving a TED talk, and there's 800 comments here. So I can go down through these comments and I can figure out what it is that would help me to cheer that person on. What kind of questions do they have? What kind of things are they running into? I did it with a person who wanted to be a home inspector. And I found a video that had only been watched about 2,000 times, but it had 700 comments on it. All kinds of value there. I did a little video on how to do this with the YouTube video. I might actually put that in here so it's easy for people to find. We don't have to include that now. Okay. Now, what is the solution? What's the problem here? They've always had support systems. So we focus on the support systems here. Make sure you focus on one goal, eliminate distractions, bring order from confusion, reproduce your work and scale. All of those things fit perfectly what we had discussed up here in this customer hero journey, right? That's all the stuff that you want to take this person over here and give them guidance. That's what this is. This is giving them that guidance, right? And I'm not sure whether I'm going to stick with this or not on this page. I may move this to a different page. But two options. One is that we can do this for you. One is you can do it for yourself. And we'll give you the expertise. Both of them both have a call to action. And that call to action is, guess what? You're going to get on a scheduled call, right? Then I give them a clear idea of what's going to happen here. The consult call is free. You get a clear direction on your next step. You'll leave with an action plan customized just for you. Yeah, Patricia, I explained earlier that I've had a little bit of difficulty, getting the replays up. We're up to week 5 or 6. This is week 8, so I'm just a little bit behind getting the replays up. I will try to get them up. In fact, I'll probably even go back, because I'm behind, probably go back to this link right here. So make sure you save this link and put a link to each one of the replay videos here, because it's a little bit different than the typical Usign webinars. This first 3 months is so. Actually, the whole purpose of this, Steven's asking a really good question. He's asking if the focus here is a life coach or as a business consultant. And the fact is, this is really a consultant focused sales copy, because the ultimate goal is that we're going to help them to put in place the systems that they need in order to make their business work. Now, does everybody understand why we've done all of those worksheets and put all of those pieces together? And then we did the brand guidelines. But do you see how all of that came into play here? All right. This is that dark background here. This is that white color that we use. All the colors are all the same. All right, I'm just kind of watching here to see any comments that may come through, anything that I can help with. But this is the ultimate goal. I think, nope, I have something else on my clipboard. This is it right here. There you go. M's got it for you. But everything is designed and intended to be able to direct your, like I said before, if you're directing your traffic to someplace and people don't know what to do next, then it's really difficult. But if you're directing your traffic to someplace that specifically, I'm targeting corporate folks who have left the corporate world. They might have been corporate salespeople. They might have been corporate executives. They might have been corporate managers. They might have been HR managers. People who are leaving that industry. And now what do I do? I mean, I know exactly who it is that I'm taking on this journey. They're wondering, what do I do next? And the reason why I know is because I talk to them on the phone all the time. I had a conversation with a guy yesterday, 63 years old, going through exactly the same struggle. And he said, I started to realize I was going to have to make a plan when I was about 55. Yeah, that's it. And so this becomes so important. And the more people that you talk to and the more things like this that you do, then the better understanding you have of how that when that helper meets you, you act and talk to them like you know them, like you're a part of the stuff that's going on inside their head. I'm really not worried about the money on my site here. That's not my goal. Is my assumption is that they're coming from the corporate world. They've been paid fairly decently at some point in time. But yeah, that's not, and that will probably come up in this conversation down here. I'm not going to tell you, but that will probably come up in this conversation down here, so that we can do that. Thank you, Pete. But yeah, most of us realized we just didn't want to just settle on the porch, you know? And so we have we have excuse me, we have a great opportunity here, and I found myself in a great position to be able to help. All right. Any other questions before we sign off? Do you see why we've put all these pieces together? I've given you 2 examples. I don't know how great my example is. I think this is getting close to where I want it to be. And then we have a very short, brief sales copy over here. Excuse me. All right. One more thing before we go. Actually, Rob, if you go to ericsaid.com, you will see the previous version of this. This is the one I'm building on right now, but you'll see the previous version of this. The links to those examples that we showed earlier are all right here inside of this web copy example, which is right here. Okay. All right. Anything else? Before you go, just want to point out, if anybody, and people have taken advantage of this, if you have questions as you go, feel free to use this little question button, chat button right down here. And some of you have done that, so I appreciate that. That way I can help if I can, okay? All right, with that, I'm ready to sign off. How about the rest of you? Okay, I saw a question here. Hang on a second. Thanks, Em. I appreciate that. All right, y'all have a great weekend. I'm going to see if I can get my voice back here. But have a wonderful weekend. Again, if you have any questions, just hit that chat button. I will be glad to help you out if I can, and we will get on the road. Okay? All right. Thank you very much for joining me this Friday. I will see you back here next week, same time, same place, and things will go very well. All right. Have a great weekend.